We in this.
We in this. We're like,
All right, everybody.
Right.
MIY. That's right. This is Jaclyn Mullen. You are watching my YouTube channel. And as you can tell, we are going to have a lot of fun on this video today because I've got one of my favorite people. She is an entrepreneur. She is stylish and fly, and she is heart-centered and totally conscious. Her name is Jess Puccinelli, and that's the lady that you see over there on the screen. Jess, welcome to the YouTube channel.
Hey, hi, Jaclyn.
Hi.
This is so cool.
All right, Jess and I actually met through an event in LA called SparkFest, and one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure to have her on the YouTube channel to, share what she's working on is because at SparkFest, which was last August, she had an idea and she started taking action on that idea. But now in 2015, she has a full-fledged business and it is growing, growing, growing. So Jess, you are the founder of Haute Hope. I love saying that.
Yes, you say it so well.
I try. I spoke Spanish instead of French, but I try. So tell us about yourself and about Haute Hope.
Sure. So Haute Hope, like you said, really started last August, and SparkFest was a huge part of that. So thankful to you, my incredible mentor. But in that whole process, what I do is I curate gift boxes using products that give back to a good cause or positively impact the world. So what that looks like is I get to work with businesses to make sure that their corporate gifting and their client gifting is conscious and good and also really stylish because that's important to me. And then I get to work with people like brides and also with just like one-off, B2C consumers on my online shop where you can just click the box you want and I make it easy to give good. Like that's the whole thing is how do we make it as easy as possible for people to give good?
Well, what I love about this is the fact that you can just easily articulate that in one sentence, right? We make it easy to give good, which is something I struggle with, and I know a lot of people struggle with. How do we get that instant with our brand? So tell me a little bit about how this idea started or what your background was prior to working, or launching your own endeavor. Did you work for small businesses? Were you in corporate America? What was your story that kind of led you to think outside of the box and inside of the box, if you know what I'm saying?
I'm going to give you the quick rundown of how I think outside the box to be inside the box. It started about 6 years ago, which is just crazy to think about, when I moved to Los Angeles and I was working for a boutique PR agency. We worked with everything from iPhone apps to chefs to resorts and did a lot of lifestyle PR. And then from there, I moved into hospitality and worked in-house for a boutique hotel chain that was really just grassroots centered. So all of our marketing was small budget, grassroots. How do you impact your community, draw your community in, build meaningful relationships, and stay on brand all at the same time, which is hard, but also really incredible when you achieve it. And so with that, I guess a little bit over a year ago, I had the idea for Haute Hope, and it stemmed out of really just a simple conversation. I was talking to a friend about what to get another friend for her birthday, and she mentioned a company called The Giving Keys. I'd never heard of them. Quick Google later, my mind's blown. I'm like, what do you mean? There are these stylish products out there that are really cool. I would wear them if they didn't have a cause, but they're doing so much to positively impact the world and to change the world. And with that, I told my friend, I said, I wish there was a place where I could go and someone had curated all these awesome products, but put them in one place and made it easy for people to give good. She asked me when was I going to start, and here we are. So yeah, you take the leap of faith and you go with it.
What a good friend. I never knew that side of your story. That's amazing. And, that's beautiful because a lot of times we start businesses because we see that there's something missing in the marketplace. So you go, girl. Now, I hadn't known about your marketing experience with the boutique hotel. And what you demonstrated so beautifully is that a lot of times people think PR, marketing, and sales are maybe the same function. And I like to say PR is one aspect. So as your budget grows and your business grows, you will want to have PR. Yes. Marketing is like a whole nother aspect. And then those two things help tie into sales, but they're very separate, right?
Exactly.
So my whole thing is trying to help small business owners, bloggers, corporations market it yourself, market it with heart, build community, exactly like you were saying you did at the hotel. So how do you do that for Haute Hope on a daily basis? How do you market it yourself as one person in your operation?
Totally. Okay. So I am I have to be authentic in everything I do. And I'm big on building relationships. And I always tell people, after I meet them, especially if we have like a solid connection, you're never going to get rid of me, because I'm going to pour into you. I'm going to want to help you. I'm going to want to connect you to other people. And hopefully you'll want to do the same for me and do it authentically. So I do that through a lot of social media. And I kind of came up on the, that 08, 09 cusp where big businesses were starting to figure out that this was a tool they could use. So I integrate that into everything. And I understand that as somebody with a grassroots budget, I don't have $1 million marketing budget. It's imperative that I build my community using free mediums. So I do a lot with my Instagram. We do a lot with Twitter and also Facebook and Pinterest as well. And then I work just with different bloggers in my space and meet with them. It's like, take someone a coffee, pick their brain, talk to them, like have a genuine conversation, figure out who they are, what makes them tick, and then how you all can work together from there. But first, you have to know people. You have to be willing to just talk to people. So I do a lot of that, and then, like I said, building relationships through social media. So
question for you, because time is limited and you need to get as much leverage as possible with social. So how do hashtags play a role in that? Do you use them, and do they help you?
Oh my gosh, hashtags are huge. And I think it's worth taking, 2 hours one night to just scroll through Instagram, figure out who's I look at who am I targeting as far as my boxes, who were they designed for? And then who were those people, my customers, following? Who are they looking at? What hashtags are they engaged in? And then I take that and rope that back into what I do, and obviously make sure that it fits. I'm not gonna hashtag fit fam or whatever, because I'm not fit fam. But I am, that's darling. So it's just knowing, doing the research and finding those different conversations, because really that's what hashtags are. They're conversations happening that you're able to insert yourself into, and doing it again. I feel like I'm, beating you guys over the head, but authentically.
Well, and you make a good point, because I had another girl, I interviewed Kim Gilborn, who founded a site called Hashtags, and that Fit Fam thing that you described, that's called Lord, that's a mouthful. Hashtag hijacking. So don't do that just because it's popular, ladies and gentlemen. That is hashtag hijacking. It doesn't fit. So speaking of what does fit, right? Products that make a difference in the world, products that are socially conscious, how does that make an impact on marketing? I mean, you brought up something really cool, and you were saying with Giving Keys, regardless of whether it had an impact or not, you still like the product, but the fact that it had an impact was great. So, how can people use their story, whether they give back or not, to connect with their potential customers, audience, alliances, friends, bloggers, you name it?
I think it's so much about being you and telling your story, owning your story authentically. So people can see, we can see through as a consumer. Think about, we can see through when something's not real, or when something is just kind of put up hey, look at me, this is, I really care, or whatever, versus people who are genuinely living out what they believe in, what they do. Jaclyn, you're somebody who's super passionate about helping women. No, but you are. And it's so easy to want to connect you to people and want to be a part of what you're doing and to believe in what you're doing, because you're genuinely doing it. And you tell your story really well. And so that's the goal with us, is the same thing, is to make it so that we tell our story really well, but we tell it with the right heart and with just a very genuine and authentic feel. So I think the consumer is really smart. They're really smart now. And so they're not going to fall for just things that don't require them to feel or identify or connect with the brand. It's just not going to work anymore.
I have to repeat that. Consumers are not going to identify with something that doesn't require them to feel.
Mm-hmm.
Hugely important.
Right.
So this brings up a really great question, because your Instagram is on point. and you go to your Instagram and you get a feeling of like peace and serenity. And you also get a feeling of intrigue. Like, I want to know what's going on. And there's this thing that I teach in MIY and all my workshops, which is the screenshot test. And it's a little bit more challenging if you're a service-based business. But in essence, I should be able to go to your Instagram and take a screenshot and look at your pictures and know what it is you're selling or know what it is that you do.
That's awesome.
You demonstrate this so well. So for those entrepreneurs who are looking to use Instagram, how did you come up with like the look and feel of your Instagram and the consistency, and how do you like prep for your photos and all that? Can you give us some tips so we can be Insta on point like Hot Hope?
I love this Insta on point.
Hashtag.
No, hashtag Insta on point. Well, I can tell you that it is strategic. So I don't think that in anything marketing-wise, it just happens. Like, there has to be thought behind it. And so my Instagram is a reflection, hopefully, of the entire Hope brand. And the way I did it when I started was I created 5 words. And I thought about, like, what 5 words did I want this business to embody? And that is, I wanted it to be timeless. I wanted it to be distinct. I wanted it to be light. I wanted it to be conscious. And then I also wanted it to be thoughtful. And all those 5 words can each play into a picture, or it can play into a box we produce, and it plays into everything. And the idea is that before I do anything, I go back to those 5 words and say, is this timeless? Is this something that you're going to look back on, 6 months or 6 years later and say, oh, that was so 2015. Like, oh my gosh, like, I don't want that. I want it to be something that stands the test of time. Is it distinct? Can you look at a photo when you're scrolling through your Instagram and say, oh, that's totally Hope, because that's what I want. And is it light? Meaning, are we telling the stories? Like, the definition I found for light is, it's to illuminate, to expose, so to show, something that is unknown. And I love the idea of telling these stories of brands that maybe you and I haven't heard about yet, but they're doing incredible things and they're doing it really well. And then also, is it conscious? That's a big thing for us. Backing out of it in everything we do, it has to be conscious. It has to be positively impacting the world, or even just inspiring others. And then lastly, thoughtful. So if I post a photo of the beach, why am I posting it? Is it because it's just a beautiful day, or is it because I genuinely want to inspire someone to enjoy the weekend or get out there or, do something out of their box or whatever it might be? So taking all of those 5 things and really making sure that everything from our website to the box you receive to our Instagram aligns with that. And I think that's what has made it successful up to this point, is that it's consistent. It's consistent.
And like you said, going back to it has feeling. And I think that, this is so beautiful. It illuminates, it brings light to a side of marketing that often isn't portrayed, which is the side that isn't manipulative, the side that isn't trying to coerce you to do something. And that's why I created MIY, to really help people understand that marketing isn't bad, and marketing can be really beautiful, people. And Jess and what she's doing and everything she shared today is a prime example of that. So we need to bring light to you, girl, because you are Insta awesome.
Love this.
How can we connect with you and support Hope? Where can we find you?
Okay, so website is Hote, HAUTE-hope.com. And then all of my social you can find at Hope Gives. And it's just that simple.
All right. I love it. Jess, thank you for giving us your time today and giving us your goodness. You seriously rock. You seriously rock. And for those of you watching today, thank you so much for being here. If you like this video, like it, share it, subscribe, and most importantly, we want to hear from you. We want to hear what your marketing challenges may be. We want to hear what you're doing to bring light to the world. We want to hear how you're marketing it yourself. So please comment below. I've got plenty more MIY guests coming up for you. You can keep up with me on Twitter and Instagram at Jaclyn Mullen, and on Facebook at facebook.com/Jaclyn Mullen Media. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap this interview. As we say in show business, it's a wrap. That's my pretend slate. And on that note, we'll see you next time. Thank you for being here. Bye.
Bye.